having more than one electron, right? If an atom having more than one electron, that is not explained by Bohr, then here simply there is no discussion about the chemical bondings. There is no discussion about the shape of the molecules. And here it is also not satisfied the principle, Heisenberg uncertainty principle, right? That also not explained. Then here simply it is why that spectral lines, when they observed through the powerful microscope or spectroscope, they cannot uh, giving you the single line. They are giving you different finer lines, right? So that can be split in the presence of magnetic field and electric field. So respectively, they are called as here Zeeman effect and Stark effect. There is no discussion about these, right? And no discussion about the location of electron exactly in the orbit around the nucleus. So that's why it is not a successful model. Then we'll go for another model here. That is simply, sorry, there is one more chemical bonds only discussed. Okay, right. So now we'll go for another topic, that is here Bohr-Sommerfeld model. So what the Bohr-Sommerfeld model actually? Here, Bohr-Sommerfeld model, simply just small modifications are given for the Bohr's atomic model. Bohr assumed that electrons are revolving around the nucleus in circular orbits. But Sommerfeld changed that concept, right? From circular orbits to elliptical orbits. Circular orbits to elliptical orbits. So here simply Bohr's atomic model modified by Sommerfeld, right? So to account for the structure of a line spectrum, Sommerfeld modified Bohr atomic model, right? By adding just elliptical orbits. So here, first orbit left only with the circular orbit, right? But later on, every time he added one elliptical orbit, right? So while retaining the first of Bohr's circular orbits, as such, he added one elliptical orbit to Bohr's second orbit. So first orbit is in the circular form only, but later that next level is changed by or modified by elliptical orbit. So first the one has one circular orbit, next one has one circular orbit and one elliptical orbit. If you go for the third one, it consists one circular orbit, two elliptical orbits. So such that the nucleus of the atom is one of the principal foci of these elliptical. So here where the nucleus is located in these orbits, here one of the foci, right? For the circle, you are having only one center, but for the elliptical orbit, it has two foci, right? So which acts like the center. That means here around it, the orbit maintain its path. That means orbit is what? Moving of electron around that, around a point. So it consists of two foci. So at one of the foci, nucleus will be situated. Here, just simply guided by the fact that what is periodic motion under the influence of a central force. For example, if you observe already Rutherford proposed planetary model. So they are gaining the energy to move around the nucleus, right? Continuously, that something energy from the nucleus, attraction power. So I is like that. Here, the electrons are also influenced by the nucleus, central force, attraction force, right? So here that attraction force will be situated at one of the foci. What? It has two foci. At one of the foci, it is located. Then here, simply that continuously they are gaining something energy from the foci, right? So Bohr-Sommerfeld model thought simply it is considered to be a successful model just to explain that satisfactory information, right, towards only hydrogen spectrum. But again, if you go for the atom which having more than one electron, it is also not given satisfactory explanation, right? So just it is thought to a successful model for the hydrogen spectrum, but it is also failed to explain the atomic spectra of atoms more than one electron. So that diagram also we are able to draw here for the Bohr-Sommerfeld model. So if you assume a nucleus, then first first one is given with a one of the circular orbit. Suppose this blue color one is represented by nucleus. Then around the nucleus, it has different energy levels. So first energy level is given as T circular orbit. But the later on, here around the nucleus, first one is with circular orbit, but in the second level, it is with one elliptical orbit. Then third one consists of three levels. So first one with circular orbit, but next two are with elliptical orbits. Then the ellipticity also changing from one level to the another level. That ellipticity of the orbits are taken as here simply the ratios of horizontal and vertical lines. Right? Suppose if you are assuming here a line, right? So major and minor. So these ratios are taken to find out the ellipticity of the orbit, right? So like this Bohr model modified by Sommerfeld, right, to explain the structure of a atom. But unfortunately, this is also considered a failure model. It is also a failure model. Why? It could not explain that spectrum given by atoms which are heavier. That means having more number of electrons in the valency shells, right? In their shells. So orbit is what simply it is with a fixed energy and it is the path maintained by the electron around the nucleus, right? So by these assumptions, they try to explain the structure of atom, but unfortunately, they are failed in explaining all the factors that which we need to understand, right? Suppose if you assumed that electrons are revolving around the nucleus in a fixed point, so we are able to know the location of electron, but where exactly it found, that not discussed by Bohr model and Bohr-Sommerfeld model, right? So that's why they are failed. Then later on, it is successfully explained by the another model. So that model we will discuss by tomorrow, right? That is what quantum mechanical model, right? So if you have any confusion, just bring into my notice. I'll try to explain.